This is Garrett Christian here for GDC MMA.com. On my left, I've got Ryan Dickson. Ryan, thank you very much for being here.
No problem.
I just wanted to start off by basically asking you where you train, who your head coaches are, and just basically your whole team, what that's all about.
Right now, I train at Joslin's MMA in Hamilton. Jeff Joslin is my head coach. I train at Tap-Out Training Center. I do some sparring there, and I teach there, jiu-jitsu. And then I train often at Brock Wrestling with Marty Calder. And then I train at SST Hamilton for my strength conditioning.
Very nice, very nice. Are there any major sponsors or anyone you wanted to?
There's a few. There's a bunch that have helped me out all along the way. The gyms that I train at, they all help me out. And then Thunder Tribe has been there and helped me out for a few fights. Trenchless Utilities, Show No Love Clothing. Mucho Burritos helped me out. There's been a bunch.
Mucho Burrito, nice.
Yeah.
Gotta love that. Basically, I wanted to start off by learning who Ryan is as a person. Can you tell us basically when you started watching mixed martial arts or combat sports in general?
I didn't. The whole way I started was kind of a joke, I guess. They were in one of my shop classes. Actually, they were talking about the Ultimate Fighter show. They were all watching it. I had never watched it before, but I got in one school fight in high school, one street fight, and I won. And I got a reputation that I was really tough. So people were saying that, oh, I should do that kind of stuff, and is that what I wanted to do? And then they kind of said that I was tough, but not tough enough to do that. So then I started in wrestling, and there was a couple people said, oh, I'd buy you a house if you got into the UFC. I'd buy you a car, so I'm going to take them up on that. Once I get there, I'm getting a car and a house. You
Nice.
know who you are.
You're well on your way. You're well on your way. So what age did you, so that was in high school, so what, 16, 17, 18?
I wrestled in high school, not as serious as I now would have wanted to. I was doing more of the bodybuilding, but that gave me the work ethic to train every day hard. But I started wrestling when I was about 15, 16, and then almost 17, I started doing jiu-jitsu at Joslin's.
Okay. So how was the transition from just, training? Like, when did you decide that, okay, I'm good at this, like this is something that I'm going to go for all the way? Was it right from the beginning?
I don't know. I went at the beginning really hard because when I do stuff, I want to give it a fair shot and go really hard, and if I do well, then I'll stick with it. If I don't do well, then I've at least tried very hard at it, and I can make that assessment. But pretty early, it was more because in wrestling I won almost every tournament I went in, and then when I went to jiu-jitsu, I was getting tapped up by this skinny guy who now coaches at Tap-Out, Gavin Hessen. He was tapping me out probably 5 times the first time I rolled with him, and I was probably 50 pounds heavier than him. So I was thinking, man, if I can get beat by a guy that's so much smaller than me, how can I not improve on this? And that's where it kind of took off.
I see. How would you describe your style right now?
The results can't really argue against this, but more of a wrestler / grappler guy. I like to control the fight on the ground, beat the guy up and submit them. But I want to make it a complete fighter where I can strike and do the grappling, but right now it's been mostly grappling.
Okay, so your professional record so far is 5-0. You've got 4 submissions and 1 TKO. Now, all those fights, you've been pretty dominant. You haven't, except for your last fight, he was a tough guy. He stuck around and, took it into the second round, but you eventually locked in that rear naked choke. Is there anything that you're hoping, are you hoping to get a little bit more in some of your fights coming up? Do you get tested a little bit more before you go up the ladder?
Yes and no. Of course, I don't want to have too tough of a fight because right now I've only taken probably 5 shots on the feet, maybe, if that. So it's been good for longevity in my career, but I want to make sure that I can handle, because once you get to the UFC, everybody's a killer. So I want to make sure that I'll be able to handle it when I get there. So a tough fight will be good, but so far, when I fought Tavern, he was tough, And the same with Dewsbury. He was tough, but in a different way. So I think I'm prepared for it, and I get to train with really tough guys as well.
Cool. You always hear the old adage, like, there's no way it's going to be as tough as it was in the gym. Do you feel that way with your training partners right now? Like, are you getting tested as much as possible in the gym?
Yeah. I like to travel too. Like before my last fight, I went to Vegas, and I don't think I'll fight a guy that's going to be even close to as good at striking as they were for boxing, at least, because these guys were. Both of them were I sparred with two guys. Both of them were multi-time Olympians, and one guy he's now ranked 10th in the world at Floyd Mayweather's weight. So, I don't think I'll be fighting more technical or tough guys in the striking area. And then I like to go to jiu-jitsu, and I have a friend who's here staying with me now, who's a world champion black belt. So, I don't think I'll be fighting tougher guys than that. But it's always good to make sure you work as hard as possible to be ready for the fight.
I see. Interesting. Sort of going backwards a little bit here, but we'll do like a two-part question. When you were coming up at the beginning, were there fighters that you idolized or that you wanted to shape your style around? If you could mention a couple of them, and then the second part is there anyone nowadays that's in the UFC or otherwise that you sort of see as someone that you'd want to sort of shadow?
I liked Vitor Belfort when I first started because he was very exciting to watch. He finished almost all the fights that I saw. He finished. He had good striking, good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. He was complete. So him, I think, and then obviously I watched, after I started training with Jeff, I watched some of his fights and I liked his style, although he used his jiu-jitsu so that he could keep it up and punch the guy. I wanted to use my jiu-jitsu to finish the guy. That's the only little difference, but his striking is awesome. I like to do that as well. Right now, the guy that I kind of compare myself to, I gotta get my striking up a bit more. It's good, but I haven't been able to show it. It's Ben Henderson, because his style is, he uses everything. He uses the striking, he uses the ground and everything, but the main reason he's dangerous is because of his aggressive, constant pressure, grappling, and jiu-jitsu style. So I think that his style is pretty similar to mine, and I've never seen him really get tired in a fight, and so far I haven't really either. So
it's true. I can see the similarities, definitely. Now that brings me to my next question. Right now he is the 155 champion in the UFC. By the time this video airs, who knows what could happen. But, going forward, you're at 170. All your professional fights have been at 170. Are you happy with that? Has anyone tried to persuade you that maybe you could drop down to a lighter weight? Is it something you've thought about, you're interested in, etc.?
I've thought about it obsessively. I'm not a big welterweight fighter. I walk around, like right now I'm 180 maybe. And the guys they're Lyman Good in Bellator, and like Diego Lima what's his name? What's his brother's name?
Oh, Lyman Good's brother?
No, Lima.
Douglas Lima?
Yeah, Douglas Lima. Those guys are walking around like 200 plus pounds, and same with like I heard Roy McDonald's heavy too, and GSP. So in that sense, I'd probably like to either get heavier, but I have a lot of trouble gaining weight. And then there's guys in the UFC, like Ben Henderson apparently walks around at 180, and he gets to 155. So I've really thought about it, but so far, because I haven't really had a problem at 170, I'm going to stick with 170 for now until I need to go to 55.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, your record speaks for itself, right? 5-0, future, who knows what the future holds. Fight